What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to take a look at something that Bandai said this past weekend at the Card Fest over in LA. Now, it was a bit of a passing comment that happened while they were doing a stage presentation giving out a bunch of information, but what it's actually gone and done is given us a huge amount of information and told us something which, quite frankly, I have been telling you all the way along, and I feel very vindicated right now, and I am absolutely delighted about this. You see, what they've gone and done is they have said they are going to reprint previous booster sets for the One Piece card game. And a bunch of people like the lovely Azra Chav, over on Twitter have pointed out that, yes, I have been saying this all along. And go back to some of the videos where I have said this and look at some of the comments I have received for saying this. I think, to put it euphemistically, some people have not been very polite when I've given you my assertion that obviously Bandai are going to reprint some of these older sets. Now, we'll get into the whys and wherefores and what that means in a minute, but first of all, we do need to take this in the context in which it was given. We have been told that older sets will be reprinted. We have not been told which sets, we have not been told when, we have not been given all the information. Okay? That is very, very important. But if you're Bandai, you go after the most valuable sets first. By valuable, I don't mean money, I mean the sets that people want the most. So OP05. Yeah. OP05 is a very popular set. It's got the free manga rares in, and it's full of absolute staples like, Sakazuki and Anel are two of the leaders from that set that are seeing look, Anel just won North American finals, and Sakazuki, is crushing everywhere, but it won European finals. OP05 right now is the big One Piece set. So again, I cannot tell you which sets Bandai are going to be reprinting. I don't work for Bandai. The only people that know this are people that would have to break an NDA to tell you, and they'd lose their jobs if they did that, so they're not going to. But realistically, think about it from Bandai's point of view. OP05, definitely the most likely. It's the best set for players right now. It's the best set for collectors right now. It's the most popular set. That's the one that makes the most sense. And then you kind of go from there. If you look at OP03 Pillars of Strength, well, that had the wanted posters that everybody loves, but it's also filled with all the yellow stuff, think like Charlotte Katakuri, and then of course we've got stuff like Nami, which is super playable from there. And actually, yeah, OP03 is a set filled with absolute staple playable cards. So that is one that I would be considering very highly as well. Likely, what they're probably going to try and do is reprint all of them. That's what I would do, and again, I'm not. But if I were working for Bandai, if I was making this decision, I would be trying to reprint all of the sets, because you know what? They're all good. They're all popular. They're all sought after. They're all jumping up in price right now. Why not, frankly? Try and reprint all of them. Obviously, there is an issue here in terms of the capacity and how much you actually physically can reprint. That is very, very important. But you know what? That's what I'd be thinking about. If I were Bandai, this is exactly the kind of thing I would be considering. But I've been telling you all the way along that this is inevitable. And I usually prefix this by telling you that I taught business for 13 years, and the reason is not to boast or anything silly like that. It's to basically tell you guys that, look, I have a real expertise and grounding in business. I quit business to cover TCGs, so when it comes to business of TCGs, I really am well positioned to give an educated opinion on this kind of stuff. It's not meant to be some kind of boast, but there are very, very few people out there who have put as much time and effort into this stuff as I have, which is why I tell you that stuff, to try and assure you guys this is what I really do know about. And here's the thing. I keep hearing people say things like, well, Bandai are going to not print too much OP05 so that they can keep the price of the manga rares high to appease the collectors, or something along those lines. Somebody told me once, and this is something someone actually told me, Oda himself asked Bandai to not print too much OP05 to protect the collectability of the signed Oda card. I cannot believe for a second that happened, and even if it did, I can't believe for a second Bandai would agree to it. Because here's the thing. Bandai doesn't care about the secondary market. Bandai doesn't care about high-end collectors most of the time. I'm sorry, and again, I don't speak for Bandai. This is my opinion. I am not speaking for Bandai. This is me speaking as a massive TCG nerd with a big expertise in business. Because the massive collectors are not the people who are going to be building this game for years to come. Partly because a lot of the massive collectors will just go and buy singles to save themselves time and effort. And secondly, because massive collectors are fickle. They will stick with the trendy game, and when the trendy game stops being trendy, they'll move on to the next trendy game. The only thing keeping these big collectors in One Piece over, say, Lorcana at the moment is because right now One Piece has the money cards. There's nothing in Lorcana even close to a manga Luffy. So the big collectors at the moment are basically going, well, let's go to One Piece. But that can change in seconds. And that's kind of my point here. Think about the model of a trading card game. And this is what I've been telling you guys literally all the way along. Honestly, since before One Piece came out, I've been telling you about other games on this and my other channel, PTCG Radio, where we talk Pokemon. I have been telling you what the deal is. And the deal is this. The model of a trading card game is not, I want to sell a box. I want to get some collectors buying singles. I want to have some big expensive singles. That is not the model of a TCG. The business model of a trading card game is, I want people to buy packs of OP01. Preferably a couple of boxes. Doesn't need to be a case or 2 cases or anything like that. I want lots and lots of people who are going to buy a couple of boxes of OP01. And then I want all of those people to buy a box of OP02. Couple of boxes. And then I want all of those people to buy a couple of boxes of OP03. And then OP04. And then OP05. But actually, you know what? I want to be hooking those people to the point where they are buying a couple of boxes of every set. That's lovely. But of course, if they're buying a couple of boxes of every set, they're also going to be buying the starter decks. But actually, we know how starter decks work with One Piece, in that you have to buy 2 of every starter deck so that you get a playset of every card. So we really want them buying 2 of every starter deck. Okay. Well, but then we're going to release these other products. And when we release these other products, we really want people to be buying those as well. So when we release stuff like the gift collection, for instance, we want people buying that. That is how TCGs make their money. It is not by having a couple of people who buy 4 cases of every set. It's not by having sets that are sold out so that people are spending massive amounts of money of them on the secondary market. It's not pushing up the price of manga rares. This is not how successful trading card games run. Because Bandai doesn't see the money from the secondary market. The secondary market means nothing to Bandai. Bandai do not want a few people scrabbling over really expensive boxes on the secondary market. What Bandai really want is lots and lots of people who buy a couple boxes of every set, who buy a couple copies of every starter deck when they come out, who go and buy all of the extra stuff, the gift sets and all of that. And then over time, that is how you build a really, really sustainable TCG. We've all seen card games over the past couple of years that have had a couple of products or a couple of cards that are massively expensive, and the big high-level collectors go running to them. But if you run a TCG, that doesn't matter. Fine, in the short term, it's a fun little ego boost, but in the long term, what you want is a good, stable base of lots of people buying every set, every starter deck, and the only way you do that is by reprinting. Because if I can't buy OP04 and OP05, I'm not going to be here when OP06 comes out. There's no way I'm going to be here to buy that set because I've already given up because I couldn't buy the set. And I've seen all these weird theories for the entire length of this game where people saying that Bandai are deliberately underprinting, Bandai are trying to keep the price of boxes up. No. The reason Bandai have had shortage of stock is very simply because One Piece has been too popular. And I get a question a lot, and it's something I might make a proper video on a bit later, but I get a question a lot, why didn't Bandai just print more? Well, the answer to that is really simple. Cash flow. Cash flow is the amount of money you have available to run the business on a day-to-day basis. When you pay money out, your cash flow goes down. When money comes in, your cash flow goes up. If your cash flow runs out, you can't pay the people you need to pay, and your business disappears instantly. No cash flow, no business. So, let's say for argument's sake, you look at the sales of OP04 and you go, right, OP05 is going to be 4 times as popular. So you print 4 times as much OP05. And it turns out OP05 is only actually 3 times as popular as OP04. You then create this weird situation where OP05 is 3 times as popular as OP04. It is massively popular. It is hugely profitable. But you printed 4 times as much as OP04. You've actually run out of money. Your card game is done. It's a fairly simple example, but that is why you don't see ridiculous overprinting at the beginning of a set. Does anyone actually not think that Bandai upped production for OP05? Of course they did. They saw what happened in Japan. They knew OP05 was going to be more popular than OP04. I don't know this. Again, this is speculation, but I feel good about this. Of course they upped production. They didn't up production as much as we all wish they had. But again, if you up production that much, the only options are you nailed it or you killed your game. What actually happens in every business, which is not as much fun, I'm sorry, you up production a bit, you make sure the sales are as healthy as you're expecting, and then you keep upping production over time because otherwise your cash flow is ruined and you literally run out of money to pay your creditors and it kills your business. There's a fun little legal thing that if there's a single creditor that you haven't paid, they can take you to court and make you bankrupt, which is kind of funny. But we don't have time to get into that right now, but it happened with an insurance company years ago now and it was hilarious. But the point is, that is why we don't see just a massive, hey, let's print everything, because you have to spend money now to print, and you don't get the money back until you sell the product, and if it doesn't sell instantly as fast as you need it to, it ruins your cash flow and kills your business. That's why we've not seen the ridiculous uptick in printing like you might have wished. But as I've explained in this video, the entire business model of TCGs relies on having lots of people hooked for the long run. You do not get that by throttling production. Bandai do not get the money from the secondary market. It matters not to Bandai what the price of these manga rares are on the secondary market. Nobody really cares. What matters to Bandai is the number of people who are regularly buying the game. That is the number one metric that Bandai care about. And that happens and that goes up when you have lots of product available. I have literally been telling you since day one that Bandai are going to keep printing to meet demand because that's how trading card games work. And over at the Card Fest in LA this weekend, what did we see? Bandai came out and said, well, yeah, we're going to reprint some older sets. That was always inevitable, and I feel extremely confident this is going to carry on. It's not really an announcement I needed, because I have been telling you guys all along this is going to happen. But it sure is nice to hear it out loud now, isn't it? I think it is. But now I want to hear from you guys. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me which sets you want to get reprinted. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, That's where we talk about One Piece and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.